Okay, viewers and listeners, you are watching Lip Service, and better late than never. And for those of you who don't know what Lip Service is all about, Lip Service is the show about comics. What makes us different and unique is we don't deal with the major mainstream publishers just because they are who they are, and you know who they are. We go for the independents. We come for the up and comers, the next gen, and our guest is John Crowther, and he is published through one of the oldest. He just got to tell me one of the oldest publishers in the industry called AC Comics. So, John, welcome to Lip Service.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you are quite welcome. You are quite welcome. And before we get started, I have to do this now because I am under contract. Lip Service is now brought to you by C2E2, and you'll probably see a little graphic pop up over my face or somewhere along the way. Coming April 24th through the 26th in Chicago. Hopefully by that time it'll actually be warm with some heat for you to come through. So come on through and stop in. Also, if you like what you're seeing, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. If there's something you don't like, give us a thumbs down or whatever. Also, we should have a little Q&A. Actually, we do. We do have Q&A. So if you have questions, feel free to pop down and put your questions in. So, but getting to questions, John, how did you get started?
In comics in general, or with Rochelle's book itself?
Both.
Okay, well, I'll be honest with you. I've always had a love of comics.
Okay.
And, once I hit my 40s, I decided I've been practicing law now for about 20 years.
Okay.
And I decided, one of the things I always wanted to do was to write a comic book. I was a big fan of them growing up in the 80s, and I saw it, and continue to be now, and continued to read them. But I saw that we were kind of moving away from what I was used to back in about 84, 85, the style of art, the style of stories. And I thought, why don't I just go out and try and do one on my own and try and bring some of that back. So what I did is my artist on the series, some of you might have heard of him, his name was Del Barris.
Okay.
Now, Del did a lot of books back in the 80s. He did some work with some of the big ones, with DC and with Marvel UK, on such series as Blue Beetle and Death's Head and some of those. I've always been a fan of his artwork, so I had my idea of Rochelle and put him a letter, told him about it, and he had been out of the comics books for a while. He had actually moved into animation, and during the 80s he did the Transformers, he did Spider-Man, G.I. Joe, and like I said, he stepped away from comics, but I told him my idea, asked him if he'd be interested in coming back into it, and he said absolutely. He said he thought the Rochelle idea was extremely unique, and it was something he'd really love to do, so I sent him the script, and that's how we got started.
Beautiful. And now and that is a very good story to show and I'm saying to you our viewers, to show that what goes around comes around. And it's funny that you should mention about the style that has changed over the last 20-30 years from the 80s. I too was a fan of that. Actually, I'm a fan of the older style because some of the stuff from the mid 80s, especially with the Avengers and the art style, really kind of grated on my nerves. But to find a artist who actually was in the game and not and just simply just said, "Oh, the hell with it," and to find that rejuvenation to get back to the fold is unique, just to say the least. So what changes have you seen today that has, in your opinion, turned off? May have turned off a whole bunch of hardcore readers.
Well, to me personally, I think comic books became a little too serious. And you'll find, or people will find when they pick up Rochelle, that we do have some serious topics, but we also
Mm-hmm.
And you see so much graphic violence in them now. Obviously, there's going to be fighting and such in their stuff series, but there's fun with it. It harkens back to the days of early X-Men, those kind of things, and where we have fun with the characters. For instance, we've got a character coming up in a future issue. His name is Major Mess. Where we can have a little fun with the names. Rochelle herself, Rochelle the King Cockroach. You can hear Rochelle is actually play on the name Roach.
Right.
Where we can have a little bit of fun with it, but some seriousness at the same time, and it's something that'll bring in adults and children.
Okay, and it's funny that you should mention that as well. Having children involved in the readership, because to me that is one of the main things to me that the major two have gotten away from, and to me they're not concerned about continuing that particular market, because obviously for them the comics are nothing more than a marketing tool.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
What we try to do with Rochelle, actually, this was, what I try to do with Rochelle, is I'm also a father. I'm a father of a 15-year-old girl.
Right.
And what I've done with the character is I see a problem with these guys, present day. People are not accepting people for who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to take a character and showing what its supposed faults are, and showing those faults can actually be powers and beneficial. When I came up with the cockroach idea, I thought, what's the most detested creature on the planet? And it probably, a lot of people would say it's a cockroach.
Oh, yeah.
Disgusting. But if you really look at the characteristics of a cockroach, some of the things, it's the fastest land insect on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost impossible to kill them. So what people think about them and think, it's such a negative creature, look at its positive things. And what that's to contrast that with than a teenage girl.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that is true. That is true. And the one thing I can truly say is this: it's probably going to be proven a scientific fact when we blow ourselves back to be beyond the existence. It'll be the cockroaches running everything, of course. Yeah, of course. In some circles, they might say the cockroaches are already running things in government. So take your pick. But
She's actually, being raised by a single mother.
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously she's got these traits of the cockroach, and you'll find that throughout the series, other characters will get involved that have, again, different qualities that some people look at as faults, but they turn into powers for these people. So, it really tries to bring a positive storyline, for people dealing with acceptance.
Okay, yeah, and that's the main thing, acceptance. To me, it seems that with the way Rochelle is set up, it is also touching on some unique points to me that you just can't get from a big time studio, as far as finding those finer points to write a story about. Just right. That brings about a very good point. To me, the major publishers are always talking about they can't find a new market. Well, look what you having your writers do. Look what you are trying to push. Instead of and then what they try to do, and then when they finally get some heat underneath their rear ends from whatever, then all of a sudden they'll think, let's take this let's take this do nothing character or this one title and flip the script, instead of just saying, why don't we just simply just come up with a brand new series? And
I agree. And one of the other areas that I saw that we have a lack is actually a strong female character.
yeah.
Female characters are always the sidekick. can't we just create a new female film?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's true. And give me 1 second here. I gotta switch out a battery here before we don't have any kind of sound. Technical difficulties, people. Okay, that should be a little bit better. Okay, yeah. And get you back in here. There. Okay, now we're cooking with gas.
Good.
Much better. Much better. I had to change 3. And therein lies the other crux. And this is a question I like to pose to you right off the top. And this is also a question that I have posted on on the website Quora, and I've only had one response. Surprisingly, do you feel that the way artists have drawn women in comics, do you feel that has led to some of the body shaming that's the new word for it now, that women are experiencing now?
To be honest, as the father of a teenage girl, I do think it's a major problem. And I don't think it's just in the comic book industry, though, but I do think, I agree with you, I do think that it has become a problem, and that they're portraying to our children, these young girls that are growing up, once you're an adult, at some point you've already established your feelings about your body style and things like that. But when you're a young child growing up, especially when you're influenced with comic books,
Right.
You need to strengthen these kids, and that's part of the reason I've done what I have with Rochelle, is showing that just because you may have the imperfect body or the imperfect life, it's not really imperfections. Those perceived imperfections can actually be powers, and you'll see that with some other characters in there. But I agree with you. Right at it, they've over-sexualized a lot of the female characters, and I think it's to sell comics. I think that's it's part of marketing in just about any industry is sex sells, but I don't think it has a place in comics, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, and to a point, I agree with you. But at the same time, if you are a publisher, you are.
Giving us out.
Well, yeah, but if you are just I'll take our us for example, Kiss Me Comics. We have a little bit something for everybody, So if you for the adults who want something dramatic with all the love, sex, or whatever, we have one title, Serenade. And by the way, if you all don't believe me, Serenade is drawn by my wife, obviously, and drawn like a real woman without small hips, oversized bust and everything else. But I mean,
There's a way to market certain things, but it seems like and I'm glad to hear that your wife is doing that with that series. But there is an over-marketing, particularly with the big comics, of sexualizing the female characters. And I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a comic book superhero series in the major markets where you don't have the Barbie doll, unrealistic body form placed in the book, at least with the heroes.
Right.
You have background, crowd pictures with someone who has a different body shape and body style, but you're not going to find it.
Yeah, I agree with you, because that was one of the things that kind of burnt me out back in the 80s. It was one of the ways they drew the women. Oversized bust, out of proportion legs, and everything else. And with that, I have a very good question. Another good question for you.
Yeah.
With the and this goes back to the art styles that we're talking about now. Do you the as we know, anything with art is a subjective point of view. Now with the way comics are drawn now, do you feel that these are, I'm not saying that they're totally bad artists or whatever, but do you feel that they're the I guess the way they're being drawn and or colored, it kind of takes away from from a lot of what the old school artists have had to learn to do in order to even have a half a job.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you said, it's very subjective artist, but I personally did not like the art that's going out there today. That's why I hunted down Dell. And again, it's my personal opinion of the art that's out there, but I don't think it's as high a quality. I don't, it seems, that when you really sit down and take a look at some of that older artwork, I mean, I'm not an artist, I'm a writer and I'm a creator.
Okay.
So I'm speaking on what I observe.
Okay.
When I look at it and observe it, the quality of art seems so much stronger with some of the older artists. So much. I don't know that some of the guys who are out there drawing, or I shouldn't say guys or gals that are out there drawing today,
Right.
had a job back in the 80s.
Yeah, yeah. And now with the advent of everything going digital and computer coloring,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that at all. Everything done with Rochelle is done by hand.
by hand.
It's so nice to get that artwork and you see the ink putting through the back of the paper and to hold that and look at it and not something digital on a computer screen.
Right.
And when I talk to him, he doesn't even do, as far as I know, he doesn't even do any digital art. But I was not, when I talked to him, I knew of his work and I knew it was all hand done, and that's the art I appreciate. I mean, I know I can't get on there and draw on a computer like some of these guys do, but there's something about that ink to paper that I just love.
Oh yeah, and I can truly say that for us, 15 years, we still do things by hand as well. Oh yeah. Well, my wife's title, Serenade. She primarily does everything with watercolor.
Oh, right, nice.
Oh yeah, every so often, or marker. Every so often, we may go the digital route just for convenience sake. But I'm going to use this moment to toot our own horn. For those of you who don't know us, you can go to our website, kissmecomics.com, and look for Serenade issue number 2. It has her face done in 3 different styles, and all of it, and I mean all of it, is done with watercolor.
I'll be on there after we get off this interview, Chad.
Oh yeah. We have sold that as a T-shirt, as a magnet, and when we brought it to C2E2, which is coming up in April, and there's another plug. A lot of people were asking, well, how did she do that in Photoshop? And we told them, no, it's not Photoshop. And just seeing the people's eyes grow big and their mouths drop.
Yes. It shows the skill. You cannot hide your faults when you do it ink to paper or watercolor to paper.
That's true.
It is what it is. There's no erasing with a computer.
No. That's true. And now since we're doing a comparison of comics, and you brought up a very good point about the how comics have gotten serious, and I have noticed that trend too, and it seemed like. And to me, I don't understand it to where on the one hand I do understand it, and this was the beginning of the end as far as I was concerned about comics, to where the major publishers were now not concerned about the creative flow of the story. They were more so worried about marketing and possible this that's so down the road. You
Well,
know.
to get my movie, I'll tell you the one that really, to me, and not to knock on any particular publishers or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
the one that set the tone for me was when they killed Archie.
Oh.
Archie comics, I mean, come on, Archie and Jughead, you're going to kill Archie and turn him into a zombie?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, for me, I can actually go back a little further, with all the storylines and everything, and then all of a sudden 9/11.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you got that all of a sudden you got all these storylines coming out of the woodwork, and I wanted to say, okay, to I want to say to all these writers, what the f? It takes a national tragedy for you guys to get some kind of inspiration.
Or any kind of creativity, exactly.
Right. I'm like, come on. And then moreover, if you guys are that afraid of branching out and for underneath this particular banner, then do what certain others do: branch off and form your own thing.
Absolutely.
You know,
I think the bastions of creativity are in the independents right now.
I believe it. I totally believe it.
They're the only creators and artists and writers who are willing to take a risk.
Yeah, and that's true, because realistically, I guess the way you can say it is, the market that, for as it's concerned, telling the story is the marketing. Basically, basically to put it out there and let the work or let the art let the book sell itself.
Absolutely. And with the internet, the way we have it, if you can get on there and market, you can do it. You really can.
Yeah, that's true. And so my question is, with writing these stories today, what where do you see them going? Because for me, especially now with Marvel blowing up the Marvel universe. Which is, to me, okay. So you go. So in order to, I guess, either consolidate or whatever, now all of a sudden you want to start a whole new thing, and in my opinion, doing a DC number is stupid.
Yeah. Well, and that's the nice thing about what I'm trying to do with Michelle is we're keeping it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the old Batman stories. He fought Two-Face. Or he fought the Penguin. He wasn't fighting the universe. He wasn't going against the most powerful superhero in the universe every weekend. We're not doing that. We're simple.
Right.
We got simple villains. We got simple characters. Keep it simple. Everybody tries to outdo the next one. Who's got the most powerful superhero on the planet? It's not about that.
Right.
It's about telling a story with a simple, easy character, and touching people with relatable stories.
And therein lies a very good aspect of what you just hit upon, and that is relatability, and the way I guess right about now the bigger publishers have lost that touch. I would think, to where to where even now, if they came up with a gay character and say here, and they use their media machines to cram it down everybody's throat, it comes off as insincere and hawkish.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's basically.
And people forget that, really, if you look back in the history of comics, how they started out, comics were about telling fables and telling legends and such. It was a way of relating a story, not just through words, but through pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And as you kind of touched on yourself, they've kind of away from that. They've gotten away from the base of what comics were about.
Yeah, and there lies the whole the big crux of the issue. I think with what's going on with comics today, and then the scarier part of all this to me is this: there's going to be a whole generation who won't know the real story of any of these major characters that they're turning into films now, because they're blowing up everything, and the unfortunately the movies are going to be gospel.
Yeah, they're distorting it because people really look back at the history of some of these older characters, such as, Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman or any of those, and really investigated what those characters were all about. It's completely different from what they're putting out on the big screen now.
Oh, oh yeah, and that's where for me my total geekoid radar is all a tizzy, because I'm like I see the movies, and on the one hand I'm going, okay, yeah, I keep telling myself this is an alternate reality, and and then when I start really going on a tirade about with some of my friends or whatever about what really went on, this, thus, and so, they're like, no, I'm like, you know what? Here, I was sometimes want to say, go through our old stacks and say, here, read this.
And
Blam.
I also see a possible change coming because at least my generation, I don't know your age, but I'm in my early 40s now.
I'm late 40s.
Okay, so you're in your 40s, the same basic generation.
Mm-hmm.
The power of the law. We're the ones that are reflecting back on our days now. We're the ones that are spending the money at the Comic Cons. We're the ones that are interested in these kind of things. And I think you're seeing groups or individuals like ourselves that are starting to come back and get into it, and we love what we loved back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the readers are going to acknowledge that. I think eventually the publishers are going to have to acknowledge that we're the group now. Obviously there's the young ones down there who we pay for them because they're our kids. But the ones who are walking in there with the wallets and the ones who are spending the money are our generation.
Right.
40-year-olds that grew up in the 80s, we know what we appreciate it and we want it back.
Yeah, and it's funny you should mention that, because now what and this is what, to me, this is where the marketing machine that is the major publishers and everything rears its ugly head, because even according to Diamond, and therein lies the other thing, Diamond must go somehow, some way, just like they got rid of AT&T. Break them up just long enough so that way there can be some actual competition, and then after 20 years they'll reform Voltron. But basically, to me, it's where and you can tell just by the way they do it. Their marketing bean counters, for whatever reason, is telling them to target 17 to 25 because they think they're the ones that they're doing this. But at the same time, I don't know where they're getting their information from. But obviously the millennials that they're going after are more eclectic than the stupid suits are giving them credit for.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
So how do we as independent publishers, even with the use of internet, get that word out to say, hey, here we are, we have something, that, well, basically somewhat old/new.
Yeah, and really it's a tough road. You got to be perfectly honest with you. And we've signed up. We're starting to do some Comic Cons. We're going to go out and just got to get the word out and talk to people. I'm guilty of being an insomniac. So if I was putting Rochelle together, I'd sit on this computer and I must have written every comic book on the globe. I was writing comic book stores.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote comic book stores on every country on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote them in South America. I wrote them in Africa. I wrote them in North America. I wrote them in Europe. I wrote them in Asia. I found my Google Translator.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't read what I wrote because I was translating it into these little Chinese caricatures and China.
Mm-hmm.
But I was saying the same thing. Come check out Rochelle. Look what we have to offer. Sending pictures out. And you just got to do it. I mean, we've got technology at our fingertips. And sometimes, as I tell a lot of people in just about any industry,
Yeah, and
And
it's
it kind of ties back to how I did with Dell. I mean, I never would have dreamed the Dell parents who drew all these books back in the 80s for DC and Marvel would want anything to do with the little John Crowther's comic book story.
hmm
You know? But sometimes you just got to reach out and give it a shot.
yeah,
You know?
that
And maybe they'll bite, and if not, you just cast your line back out there and try and get somebody else to bite. You know?
well, yeah,
Eventually, a big fish is going to bite. If you got quality work and you got determination, eventually you're going to hit it.
yeah,
You know, and for me, that honestly, that's everything just kind of started falling. Dell had been an artist with AC Comics many years ago.
yeah.
And I didn't have a publisher. I had no idea. I said, okay, Dell, I got this book. Now what do I do? I said, do I do a Kickstarter? What do I do?
hmm
He said, oh, why don't you get Mark Heike a call? He's the editor-in-chief over at AC Comics, and I know it. So I just picked up the phone, never met him in my life, gave him a call, told him the idea. He said, yeah, I spoke to Dell. Let's do it. Let's give it a run. You know, so sometimes you just got to reach out. I think too many people, and it's not just in comics, it's in life in general,
Mhm.
are afraid to take a chance.
Yes,
You
that
know? And people need to, drop their fears about taking a chance and go for it. What's the worst thing? You're never going to be in a worse position than before you try.
that's true. And that is also true. I feel that we're kinsmen because for us, we started without really eyes wide open. We just simply said, okay, let's do this. And this is one of my favorite stories. My kids will probably roll their eyes when I say it, but we first launched in Toronto. 16, another country because the market here is so saturated and brainwashed by the major publishers. We went up to Toronto to go and see where the nobody didn't know us from Adam's House Cat. 16 copies of Saturday Number Zero, magazine size. Here we are walking into this big, huge convention. My first convention ever, our first book ever. And going through literal hell trying to get two books done, arguing with ourselves and everything. Get to the place, and with this little cart with a box banged up by airline package handling,
Yeah.
and I'm saying people with U-Hauls, semis, vans, with boxes and boxes of books, and I'm looking like, we didn't have any fear because we were so worried about getting the stuff done. Next thing I know, all of a sudden, reality is like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And
Then you realize real quick that they're no bigger really than you are.
yeah, well,
They may have a bigger truck, but bigger than you are.
well, yeah, but I mean, but just
Yeah.
but then just the reality of what is in there altogether, and trying to understand how to, but going there, I learned that even with independence, all you all still publishers, and yes, you are competing, but everybody can still find their niche.
Absolutely.
You can still find your readers, even throughout all that, and a lot of times, the one thing I can truly say is this: the independent reader will, if the pricing is right, will go out and satisfy several niches. So my question to you is this: how, in your opinion, how can, and I'm doing this for you out there who are thinking about doing this, obviously now with the advent of on-demand printing has cut the cost down. But do you feel that independents still kind of outprice themselves when it comes to?
It makes it difficult for us because, if we don't, at least me, and I'm sure the majority of people will agree,
Mhm.
we don't have around with a lot of cash.
Right.
So you put your first book out, and you're in my essence too. I'm lucky in that I can write. So my writing is covered, but I still got to pay my artist. Your wife is an artist. She's got a talent.
Right.
She can save money on the artistic aspect of it. But for a lot of independents out there as creators, you've got to be able to come up with money to get your book produced in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't have the money to invest in a project necessarily. That you've got to be honest with people out there who are thinking they're getting into the industry. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything you sell will make your money back.
Yeah.
It's got to be something we do it because we love it, not because we think we're going to go really well. But, I mean, of course, when you buy a lotto ticket, there's always your hope that you're going to win that lotto, but your chances aren't terrific.
Yeah.
You got to do it because you love it, and then if it falls into place and you make something out of it, you're blessed.
Yeah.
But so people shouldn't go into it with a false belief that you see the glamour. I'm going to write a comic. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to draw the next Batman. That's not reality.
Right.
So, and that's part of the reason for being creative. You can't come out. You can't try and emulate other people. You've got to be yourself. And I think one thing that helps sell for independents like ourselves is you got to be accessible.
The,
I think DC and Marvel and some of the other biggies have done is they've made themselves unaccessible.
mm-hmm.
And I think, the true comic lovers and people that are out there, the public, they want to talk to us. They want to know what you're thinking, kind of like how we're talking tonight.
Right.
They want to get in and know the people. And I'll be honest with the Facebook page. I might maybe get, 10, 11 emails a day from people interested in knowing what the story's about. I respond to every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll sit there for a couple hours just sitting chat back and forth. And I find it interesting to talk to the readers, and I know they love being able to talk to a creator and hearing actually what the person thinks.
Yeah.
And I think that, if people want to be successful in this, come on, going to conventions, even though we might be the small fish in a big pond, make yourself accessible, talk to people.
Yeah. And that's the true. And for you out there, that's what the true marketing tactic is for it should be for anybody. Going out there, saying hello, making yourself accessible, and not having a attitude, for lack of a better word, to say I'm so and so. But where do you see, hopefully, Rochelle, the teenage cockroach, going in the next 2 to 5 years?
What's my dream? My dream, obviously, I'd love us to be huge and everybody buying our books and whatnot, but I see it continuing to progress. I mean, it's a character that has a lot of room to grow.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to, she's a teenager. She's living daily teenage life. And part of what I've tried to draw into the stories is I see stories of my own daughter that she's growing up. So a lot of what's happening in my daughter's life is a parallel what is in the stories. I'm lucky that I have a living, breathing character in my house.
Yes, they are.
And so a lot of my story ideas and inspirations come from just watching her.
Right.
So I know Rochelle, my daughter's name is Jalen. Rochelle's going to grow along with Jalen.
There you go.
And the stories will always be unique. The stories will always be fresh and exciting and touching on topics of today and topics that teenagers are dealing with today because she deals with them, And
Right.
Perspective of so I think it's something that Rochelle isn't a one-shot series. It's something that will always continue to grow.
Perfect.
And as long as the fans keep supporting it, we'll keep putting it out.
That's the way it should be. I mean that's the way it should be. And with that, And then speaking of Rochelle, where can people pick up Rochelle?
Okay, well, you touched on one a little bit earlier. We are carried by Diamond,
Okay.
but in an indirect way. What's happened is we're writing as a 25-page piggyback on Fences, okay?
Okay.
Of course, issue number 170. What it is Diamond carries Fences, and they have for several years. So issue number 0 of Rochelle will be writing on issue number 170 of Fences, and will be available in a lot of bookstores in about a week and a half.
Perfect.
Also, people can visit AC Comics' direct website, which is accomics.com. And probably about the time they hit the show in bookstores, you'll be able to order it online directly from AC Comics. If people come to the Rochelle Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
I will have about 100 convention copies, and people can contact me on the Facebook page, and I'll be more than willing to provide copies, to sell copies there, which obviously I can sign them, so you can get personalized copies.
There you go.
So there's several different venues you'll be able to get.
Okay.
And I will touch something too. I forgot to mention. You said where is the show heading? In about a week, once we hit the bookstores, Dell will start. Dell's out in Panorama City, California.
Okay.
He's doing a lot of work with DreamWorks and some of the other animation studios.
Mm-hmm.
And he will be taking. He's already got our pitch. He'll be taking Rochelle to several animation studios about pitching a potential television series.
I hope so. I would like to see that.
Really excited about the potential of what we could do.
Well, I mean, but that you're hitting the name of the game that of what most independents dream of, including us. It's nice to hear that it's nice to hear that the hard work is starting to pay off. You know.
And again, and I'll tell you, just like I have to tell myself, because I'll be honest, for every day you're excited, there's another day where you're discouraged. So, fine, and you keep asking.
That's it. I mean that.
Eventually you're going to hit the right door, and things will work.
And therein lies the whole. Then that's the reality of it all. So viewers and listeners, if you really think that it's all glitz and glamour, no. Especially for us independents, when they finally get over that hump and become the next it thing, the reality of it all is this. It's been years in the making. It does not happen overnight. Everybody wants to talk about The Walking Dead. Believe me, they've been down in the trenches for a long time. Some people want to say Watchmen, Hellboy, all them. No, Frank Miller and the rest of them had to go through a whole lot of muck and mire to get to this point. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's true. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and thanks to their cult following, they have gone through several incarnations. And so with this, folks, we have been talking to John Crowther. He is the writer and creator of Rochelle, the Teenage Cockroach. Coming out in about a week to a comic book store near you, and I will say this: somewhere down at the bottom here, I will have a link for somewhere down in the bottom in the comments. I will have a link for John and for AC Comics. Also, I will have the link for the comic book locator. So if you are in a major city, or if you know of where there may be a possible whatever, you can be able to go to the website or have the number to where you can call your local shop and get the very first copy of Rochelle the Teenage Cockroach, or even better, when it's out, actually hit John up on his Facebook page and get a numbered autographed copy.
Absolutely, and I can do one more plug for you. I forgot to mention before. I think I mentioned to you when we talked. We've got another exciting new book that Bill and I are working on. We have former 19
Ooh. Oh yes, Nikolai Volkov. I remember him.
Yes, so I've been in conversation speaking with Mr. Volkov on the telephone, and we are putting together a short comic book series along with Nikolai on his line.
Oh,
That's
perfect.
at the end of the year as well.
That would be great. And if I'm not mistaken, this would not be his first foray into comics, because I remember some time ago when they WWE had their own little thing for a hot minute. Nikolai was in there for
He was part of their cartoon series.
right.
But it's after speaking with him, he's always wanted to have a comic book of his own about his life. So that's where we're going.
Perfect.
And it's an interesting life, I'll tell you.
I can imagine.
Not going to be a spoiler, but if any of you who watched WWE or WCW in the past or any of those who think all of it's scripted, it's not all scripted.
Oh,
This gentleman is defected to the United States from a communist country long ago, from bad conditions, came to the U.S. and lived the American dream to become a world tag team champion with the Iron Sheik and eventually into the Hall of Fame. So,
yeah.
some of those stories are true.
Oh, I can believe it. Believe me, as a former professional wrestler myself, hail Windy City, woo! I know, and I met the Iron Sheik many moons ago. Very nice guy. And for those of you, support the older wrestlers, because a lot of them do not have the millions and millions like Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan, and they are trying to scrape by from day to day.
With you I talk to, I could sit here for an hour with Phil. You know?
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm actually I am going to throw one out there for you. If you remember the Uganda giant Kamala,
Yes.
you can find him online. The gentleman had to have both of his legs amputated.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, and if you can, he sells his autographs for $10 a pop. To me, that's nothing for a gentleman who goes so many years of entertainment, and he needs this money to help pay for his medical expenses. So,
Yeah.
you can support that man. He is a very kind and gentle giant.
Yes.
And he really could use
To use the help. And there you go. And so, viewers and listeners, this is why lip service exists. We're not, comics. They say comics is a pulse of the. It's supposed to be the pulse of society. It all depends on which society that is. Okay, is it the one that the marketing gurus want to make money off of, or is it the ones that reflect who you are deep down inside? Therein lies the whole thing. So this concludes. Once again, we've been talking to with very lively interview with John Crowther, of creator and writer of Rochelle, the Teenage Cockroach. And somewhere a little later, probably either we will have a book review or or another question scanned down from our core section. I don't know. But in the meantime, we will have these words from our sponsor, C2E2, coming up in April. So hopefully, if everything works out right, who knows? Maybe C2E2 may invite John to be a special guest and get at C2E2, and hopefully we'll be there too at the end we could be actually interview him again to see how things are going in the last few months. That would be great. And so viewers, listeners, if you like what you see, support us, like us, subscribe, tell your friends, please. The more you tell, the more we grow, the better. And also, if you can, if none of this comes like John says, none of this comes cheaply. So support. If you can support, buy his books. In fact, buy our books. Or hey, I mean, 15 years, over 30 different issues between several different titles. Check us out. But also, that somewhere down there should be a little button that says support. If you donate to the production of this show, because we're not just doing it for ourselves. We're doing it because we as publishers, independent publishers, do not have the apparatus like Marvel or DC. We're not owned by the rodents who actually own TV networks. They can push their movies because for them it's all free because they own the television networks. They can put it on their morning shows because they own it. Here we have to do things the old-fashioned way. One book, one face at a time. So John, hopefully what we can do is come back in a couple of months and do this all over again. Perfect. And so viewers and listeners, we'll be right back with a few words and or parting comments. We'll be right back.